Guys, reportedly the NHL has settled on a hub city for the teams from the Eastern Conference, Las Vegas. Steve, what do you think about Las Vegas as a likely hub city here once play restarts?
I've been to Vegas in August and late July, and I'll tell you what, guys, I was there for a hockey tournament years ago, 2 summers back to back, and it never really got comfortable with me because you're leaving a hockey rink and then you're getting hit by a blanket of heat at 120 degrees when you walk outside. Now, with that said, hockey players, I've said this before, Michelle talking to David Quinn on our show on Thursdays, it's funny where it's amazing that these athletes can complain as much as they can when you're in the NHL, and I think that everybody's going to have to take a deep breath, and if they look at the schedule, it might not line up with what their routine is or what their superstition is. The times of the games might be something like 11, 3, and 8 o'clock out in the West Coast, which doesn't make the viewership that easy for the East Coast viewers following their teams that are playing in Vegas, because Vegas has to move out of that conference and come into the Toronto area or wherever they choose to go so that they're not playing at their home rink. Still a lot of things up in the air, but I was surprised with the choice of Vegas, Bill.
I've covered the NBA Summer League for many years, and we're there around that same time. It's actually a little bit earlier in July is when we're there, and it's 2 weeks. And it is the same type of thing. It's 110. You can feel it. But there's also an ice bar there, Valley. It's made of all ice, and the glasses they give you are actually ice. When you're done drinking, they don't wash them. They throw them in hot water and they dissolve, or they just make new ones. So like if they can have an ice bar, they can definitely play hockey in July. But it's really, remember we had Barry Trotz on, and he talked to us about the teams that are the strongest mentally will be the ones that will be able to persevere in this. And so this is all going to be that part of that challenge, whether it's the blast of heat you feel as you walk out of a rink, which is very bizarre, of course, but it's also the routine you're talking about. Like if you're going to have East Coast teams, as they're reporting, playing in Vegas, the time thing is going to be completely off, because we're out here and waiting for a 7 o'clock or 7:30 or 8 o'clock puck drop. Well, for them, that's obviously more late afternoon, early evening. That's a much different field. There's going to be some games that even played in the afternoon, maybe even games played later than usual. That's a routine thing that as athletes, you guys have to adjust to and figure out. But as Barry Trotz said, the teams that are the strongest mentally will be the ones that will probably persevere.
Especially with hockey players, Valley, as you can attest to, like you have a lot of routines that you like to follow. So I wonder if you're used to obviously playing predominantly on the East Coast, what changes? Does your nap time change? Does that get pushed back? When are you eating? What are you doing for morning skates? All of that would have to be considered. And obviously that's such a minor thing, and I'm sure players will be able to adapt to that. The one other thing that was confusing to me, though, that if this is true, initially it seemed like they didn't want to make teams travel very far. So I'm confused as to why they didn't just pick a city on the East Coast that maybe was a team that hadn't made the playoffs or made this new format, and stick there, like what we were saying before, Alan, maybe a city like Buffalo or something, instead of sending everyone on the East Coast to Vegas.
It's time to be humble though too, right, Michelle? And you remember we were talking to David Quinn about when you're a young player, you're excited, and then when you age in the league, you become entitled, and that's dangerous. I was thinking about this on my morning bike ride today, guys. I'm riding my bike, and
You wear the helmet, Valley? You wore the helmet, didn't you?
Wait till you hear this. So I'm fixing my chain, my lock in between my frame, and this is a few days ago, and I go right into a recycle bin. Now, recycle in our area goes out on Mondays, and this was a Wednesday, okay? And it was because I wasn't humble enough for my surroundings. I was getting pretty cocky, I think, with my ability on the bike now because I've been doing it for 8 weeks. But you get humbled in life, right? It's Alan, when I was with the Islanders and I stepped on the red carpet when we got to Toronto during the anthem, and I bailed out, and then Curtis Joseph grabbed my helmet after it went all the way into the corner on their side of the ice, and he said, "Hey, Valaket, did you have a nice trip?" Humbled again. You're going to get humbled in life, and I think everybody should stay humble and understand the players from their perspective. They're just going to try and entertain a lot of people that are going through a very difficult time right now. If their routines are out of whack, or if their superstitions are getting devalued because they're trying to be able to find out how to get comfortable in Vegas, that's a very small thing in the big picture.
Valley, moral of the story, you're 6'7", stay off the bike.
Yeah. said it's why I ride a Peloton. It's much safer. You don't ride.
Pay attention. Be humble, or you'll get humbled.